So Comic-Con isn't just a nerd fest, it's also a film fest, and one of those films is called Vintage Tomorrows, directed by Byrd McDonald. He's going to break it down for us. Can you define steampunk?
Oh, it's so tough. That is the hardest question. It really, really is. Steampunk is a literary subgenre that is typified by stories set in Victorian England, stories that have technology, sort of imagining technologies that we have today, but place them back then and imagine that they run on steam-powered engines. From there, it trickles out into everything. It's become its own aesthetic. It has its own visual tropes that you can spot. We're at Comic-Con. I've seen 20 steampunk outfits. It's now permeated everything.
What first got you into steampunk?
I think for me, the initial hook was, this is a very visual medium. A lot of the objects that the steampunks make are just beautiful and they're fun to film, and I thought, well, for a documentary, you've got some ready-made wonderful B-roll if you just hang out with these people, The curiosity that it created in me and the thing that kept me going when I was making the film is, okay, this is what you're doing when you're out at a con dressed up in steampunk, but I want to know what goes on at home. I want to know behind the scenes, what is your life? And I wanted to understand where they were all coming from.
So can you give us a little hint as to what their day-to-day is?
For some of the other people in the community, they take off their attire and they go to their jobs, It's something that they do in their extracurricular time. But by and large, a lot of them spend as much time as they can thinking about steampunk, writing about it, blogging about it. And the end result is not just dress up and play, it's let's make stuff, let's create.
The time where instead of people looking at technology and seeing it in such a negative way, that it was incredibly optimistic.
There is nothing too far away that we cannot reach.
And so it's full of mad inventors building incredible, fantastic contraptions.
What's the most ambitious or memorable steampunk idea? For instance, our Uber driver last night was big into steampunk. He was talking about having a flying boat.
The thing that I always say is the Never Was Hall. It's not an empty shell of a 3-story house. It's actually a 3-story house. It has, it has a library and a parlor and rooms that you can hang out in. And the fact that they can take that from San Francisco down to Burning Man every year and that it works. And that's incredible to me. It's sort of like something out of Howl's Moving Castle, come to life. And they did it, with $5 in their pocket. That's sort of a miracle. It's kind of an exciting thing to have worked on a film for so long, and now I actually get to enjoy the film. I want to enjoy it right now. And if people want to know more about the film, please visit www.vintagetomorrows.com. We're going to have more information about how you can watch the film, how you can download it later on.
Be sure to check out Vintage Tomorrows and follow at Hollywood on Twitter and Facebook.